Welcome to the Hannah and Hannah Show. Let's start with the topic of basketball and the debate between the greatest of all times, LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
The GOAT. Let's start with Michael Jordan first, though. Michael Jordan is considered the GOAT because he leads the Bulls to 6 NBA championships, winning 6 final MPV awards and 5 regular season MPV awards. He also has many endorsements, including with Nike, known as Air Jordans, which is one of the most popular sneaker brands and has had a huge legacy in pop culture and changing streetwear fashion forever.
I love Air Jordans.
I own a pair myself. He's also won the Defensive Player of the Year award in 1987 to the 88 season, and he also holds 10 scoring titles and averages 30 to 40 points per game, which is a lot in my book.
That's a lot of points. Well, LeBron James surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career points, which was 38,287 points, and LeBron James had over 40,000 points, making him the top NBA scorer. He was the only player in history to record over 30,000 points, 8,000 rebounds, and 8,000 assists. He also won 4 championships and is a 4-time NBA MVP.
Dang.
He's known as a very versatile player, as he has the most playoff appearances and holds the most consecutive game scoring in every game he's played. And lastly, he became an all-time scoring leader in 2023 after becoming the first player in NBA history to surpass the 40,000 career point mark in the 2023 to 2024 season, and played 5 more seasons than Michael Jordan.
Don't forget all those edits on TikTok. But, I mean, after you said that, I definitely think Michael Jordan is definitely the GOAT in basketball. What do you think?
I definitely agree too.
Hey, Hannah, have you gone to any of the basketball games with Michael Jordan or
I
James?
I have definitely not, but I have watched a few Laker games on YouTube, and they're pretty interesting because I love seeing both of them play against different teams. It was always fun to watch them.
No matter what GOAT you think it is, whether it's Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or even someone else, it is really awesome to see these players. Whether you think the GOAT is LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or someone else in basketball, it is still awesome to see these players excel in what they do.
It definitely is.
Okay, thank you for this segment. Now let's move on to the next segment of football with Grace and Matthew.
Hello.
Hi.
We're so glad to be on your show today.
Yes. Thank you, Hannah and Hannah, for inviting us.
Today, we're going to talk about one of the things that have been plaguing football in the recent years, especially in the NFL, which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is a progressive degenerative disease affecting people who have suffered repeated concussions and traumatic brain injuries. It affects sports like football because of its high contact, and obviously players are getting hit and shoved and pushed around, and they hit their heads often. CTE could also lead to other cognitive problems, such as depression, dementia, headaches, and other cognitive disorders.
A study of 2,000 former NFL players stated that 1 in 3 people believe they have CTE since they have more cognitive problems.
And it also leads to higher suicide rates in people who believe they have CTE.
Because of this, some players and former players have sued the NFL.
There's been a study, actually in the NFL, that 345 of 376 former NFL players that were studied for CTE were found to actually have CTE. One drastic case of someone with CTE is Philip Adams ended up killing 6 people, which is 4 of his neighbors, a couple and their 2 grandchildren, and then 2 people who were working inside the house. After getting found by police, he ended up fatally killing himself, making it a successful murder-suicide. Over the years in his football career, he showed signs of CTE and was clearly struggling through mental and psychological issues, which led up to his murder-suicide.
This brings up the issue of who's responsible for the damages caused by CTE. Should the NFL have butt in during his career, or are the players at fault too for knowingly participating in such a dangerous sport?
I think it's a kind of a mix of both, or maybe it's the fact that tackle football is so dangerous, and so maybe they're willing to suffer CTE to fulfill their goals and careers, and are willing to face that risk. So I think it's interesting as it I think it's the fault of many people, such as the NFL and the players as well, and maybe possibly families or coaches that might have pushed them too far or too hard.
Also, we've seen football not be as popular for youth sports. That's likely because of the risks and dangers.
Will there ever be a way where CTE could be fully prevented, or at least mostly prevented? Or should America change tackle football in its entirety?
So, football has always been dangerous, and this is shown in its past, when it was almost banned because of the many deaths that occurred during games. Back then, like, it was a college sport, so the top colleges, like, I think it was Yale, right? And Harvard,
Yeah.
they got together to create a solution. Today, I definitely think the NFL would be involved in creating a solution for such a dangerous disease such as CTE.
Yeah, and it's obviously a big problem, as we know that most NFL players suffer from CTE. Like, rarely do they not suffer from CTE, which is kind of crazy. So they need to, either the players, I guess, just have to deal with it if they're okay with that, but at the same time, like, are they aware of the actual risks, or are they aware of what CTE could actually do to them and how could it affect their family, just like how it did with Philip Adams?
And are they even being protected enough? Like, during the games, they introduced like more safety precautions like helmets, but should there be more?
I guess we'll just have to see how the future of football and the NFL goes.
That's interesting, because it also connects with our other segment of hockey, talking about fighting and the regulation of it. Fighting is pretty common in hockey.
Well, the National Hockey League's official rulebook states that a fight is considered official if one or more players punch or attempt to punch an opponent repeatedly. By the 1980s, there was an average of a fight every game, which I thought was crazy.
Well, that is actually crazy.
But it seems pretty normalized within hockey. Other sports will charge a penalty for any small fight. And now hockey does charge a penalty, but players and coaches are encouraged fighting, as coaches hire enforcers, which are players meant to fight, and there are other players that talk about their opinions on fighting in hockey.
Yeah, I've seen how interesting it could be when I see a hockey fight on like TikTok or YouTube or just like anywhere.
Yeah, a player, Donald Broshner, even said, "Fighting was never the most important thing in my life, but I did it anyway, and I found a role in that."
And I think that really shows, even though the players, it may not be their first resort, it's still kind of integrated in their mind, so they're used to fighting.
Yeah, but fighting has decreased in hockey over the years because of what we were talking about in our football section, CTE. In the 2022 to 23 season, there were only 219 NHL fights through February, according to the Associated Press. And then compared to the 2003-2004 season, there were 789 fights throughout the same period. There's an obvious decrease, and I guess we'll see how it goes from there.
I wonder how this correlates with attendance rates.
Yeah, like, does this make hockey more popular, or does it make it less popular?
Hopefully no more players get injured though.
We have seen experienced players have head injuries, like Bob Probert, who died of a heart attack in 2010, and it was revealed that his brain showed signs of traumatic injuries. But there was also Todd Ewing, an enforcer in the 1980s, who took his own life in 1925, and his wife was convinced that there was a connection of the style of play. So it definitely affects the players, but hopefully as we move forward in recent years, these players aren't experiencing the same health conditions.
We'll see if the NHL favors the player's safety over the spectators' entertainment and the revenue from the fighting.
But we'll also see if the players give backlash to this potentially new idea of removing fighting, as 98% of NHL players want to keep fighting in hockey. So we'll see what the future brings.
Of course, the safety should come first of the players rather than the spectators' entertainment.
Sadly, though, I feel like in this country, money is valued more than people, I would say.
Well, thank you for being on our show, Grace and Matthew.
We hope you had a
Thank
great
you.
time.
I really had a great time.
Well, we'll see you on the next episode of the
Hannah and Hannah Show.
Thank you.